Hello. I hope you guys are doing good. I just tried to start a video and I had to restart because something was not right. So I hope you're having a good day. Hopping on here today to continue our mindset series, which it has been so fun. And I'm looking forward to continuing for the rest of the week. So I want to start with those habits that you guys chose on Sunday. The thing that you know you needed to do that you haven't been doing or that you haven't done or that you needed to tackle and you were going to tackle part of it. I want you to think of that thing and, that's the thing that you decided you were going to do. So what was that thing? What did you decide that you were going to do? And then you actually practiced taking action toward that yesterday. So I want to know how that went. Did you forget what you were doing throughout the day? Did you have to remind yourself? You had 3 reasons why you were doing it. So did you have to go back and look at those 3 reasons? Were you like part of the way through the day, you're like, why am I doing this? This feels strange because I don't normally do this. So how was that? And are you still doing it today? You decided on Sunday that you were going to do it on Monday. Yesterday was Monday, and so you took action. So are you still doing it today? Why or why not? I'm trying to figure out how to get the comments. Oh, swipe left to reveal comments. Look at that. I think I figured it out. Yesterday, I could not read your comments. Like, I could see that people were watching, but I couldn't, read anything. And I think I had to swipe left to reveal comments and reactions. So maybe today I'll be able to actually acknowledge you. So if you're on here, hi. So going back, are you still doing the thing that you decided to do? Are you still doing it today? And why? If you are, why are you still doing it today? If you're not, why aren't you still doing it today? So if you find that today you're not doing it, then I want you to reevaluate your reasons that you wrote down. What were the 3 reasons you wrote down? If you didn't make it all the way through yesterday and complete your task, why not? What were your reasons? You might need to look at those reasons and make them a little stronger. Or maybe that's not the thing for you to try, but I would say try it and think of new reasons why. Maybe more compelling reasons that will actually keep you acting. So we decided on Sunday, we took action on Monday. Yesterday we talked about the behavior chain and how becoming aware of our thoughts is key to actually changing our behavior. And we now know that the current state that we live in is a sum total of all the thoughts that we have more often than not. So where we currently are, all the things that we are experiencing is a sum total of all the thoughts that we have the most often, right? So if we're feeling undisciplined or lacking motivation or lacking something, we first have to recognize that there is a deficiency and then take action toward it, right? So sometimes we have just been through so much and we've, what people tell me is they've been through so much and they failed so many times that it starts to, I can see it in my clients, it starts to be stored in your body. So I like to kind of equate it to sleeping. What happens is we start doing something. We start acting on something. And then we get to this really comfortable spot. So I want you to think about you're acting on something. You are actively watching TV. Let's do that. Let's do this one. You're actively watching TV and you're really energized and excited. And then you start to get really comfortable on your couch and you're like, oh, this couch feels good. And then that comfort starts to become a little bit of a slouch. And then the next thing you know, you're kind of slumped. And then the next thing you know, you're like squeezed down into the cushions, like deep in a rut. You know, you're like really, really rooted deep down in there. And it's kind of still comfortable down there. But then you start to like doze. And every now and again, when you start to doze, doesn't happen every time, but sometimes when you start to doze, you'll get jolted awake by something, like that feeling that you're falling, and that'll like scare you, right? And sometimes it'll wake you completely up. I think everybody can relate to this. And then sometimes, instead of getting jolted awake, we actually fall into a much deeper, longer sleep. So if you've ever fallen asleep on your couch, you can probably relate to these things. But it's not like the good night sleep, if you know what I mean. It's not the nights where we wake up like refreshed and feeling great. It's the nights when like, oh, we're so restless and we are dreaming all the dreams, and maybe they're like kind of anxious dreams, like the ones where you're kind of struggling. And then one day we wake up and we finally, like when we wake up, we're exhausted. We're aware that something wasn't quite right, and we've been asleep for so long that we actually feel lost. Like we don't even know what to do now. So then we start like reaching for magic potions. Like we grab our coffee, right? This is going to make it better. This caffeine is going to fix it. And then we start reaching for like magic pills, the latest diets, thinking that those things are the answer that we need to get us out of that slump, that horrible sleep that we had. Sometimes we go to the doctor. But the real answer lies way back before we ever got comfortable. We have to grow. We need growth. We need knowledge. We need experiences. We need those things consistently. And in order to get those things consistently and to reach our goals, we need discipline. And I've had a couple conversations about this recently, but discipline is not something that is inherently born in you. Your parents, although they can teach you, discipline isn't a gene that is passed along. It's a learned behavior. So as much as I want to say, like, Seth is disciplined and I am disciplined and our kids must be disciplined, they didn't get it from their genes. They're going to get it from us teaching them the discipline that we have. So discipline is not something that you wake up with on Monday and you've lost by Wednesday. All right. So I want you to remember that on Sunday we decided to take action again towards something, and on Monday we did take the action, and so now it's Tuesday. And have you forgotten? Have you, or are you still doing it? Because this is where discipline comes in. Discipline, one of my mentors, one of my favorite people in the world, she's just a normal person, but she is my mentor and she is wonderful. She defines discipline as the ability to give yourself a command and follow through immediately. So you say, I need to fold the laundry. Then go fold the laundry. Do that now. Oh man, I just thought of something. Make a note that I've procrastinated about. you need to exercise. You are saying, I'm going to exercise for 10 minutes. What do? Then you exercise for 10 minutes. You don't exercise for 12 minutes. You don't exercise for 15 minutes. You don't exercise for 8 minutes. I've got 10 minutes to exercise and I need to exercise. So now I'm going to exercise for my 10 minutes. You set an alarm. Most of you set an alarm every day. That alarm means to get up. It doesn't mean to push it till 10 minutes. You should have set your alarm for 10 minutes later if that's when you wanted to get up. Stop that snoozing. I can give you a trick for stopping the snoozing. But discipline is actually defined by my mentor and by someone I truly trust, and this is how I really believe it goes. Giving yourself a command and then following through immediately, not following through later, not pushing it off till another time, not pushing it to a day that it's not raining. If you need to do it and it can be done today, then it should be done. Now, granted, you might have to have a list of things that you need to take care of, and you might have to prioritize those, but the little things in life that are cluttering your brain, that are stopping you from acting, that are giving your brain the ability to say, I can do that later because I've been putting this off for a while. Those are the things that you need to start doing. You cannot be disciplined and procrastinate. It is not possible. You have to choose one or the other every time you give yourself command. So you're saying you're going to do the laundry. So you're going to do that now, because if not, you are procrastinating, and that causes brain fog. So I want you to know that there are some exercises that you can do to practice discipline and to help you get over the hump. Something that I do recommend very often, and even more so now that I've been taking yoga for a while, is meditation. Something that will help you with discipline is setting a timer for 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever time you want to do, and setting your timer, turning everything off, and breathing for that amount of time that you set. You are going to inhale and exhale, and all you're going to think about is inhaling and exhaling over and over and over. And as your brain says grocery list, you're going to be inhale, exhale, gotta get the kids from camp, inhale. Discipline of bringing your thought back to breath every time is something that is going to help you. Hold on 1 second. I hear you. So meditation is one easy way to, and by easy I mean it's actually not that easy, but you can do it anywhere. Practice discipline is bringing your thought back to that breath. Another thing that will help you get over the hump is when you have to do something that's uncomfortable, or you need confidence for something that is a little risky. You can practice a power pose. I know it might sound crazy, but these things do help you when you need them. They're little tricks of the trade. So for instance, a power pose is something where you stand tall. I like the Wonder Woman pose, but think of Wonder Woman and, she's hands on her hips. She's standing tall. She's looking straight ahead. She's chin up, breath in, tough. You could think of Bruce Lee. You could take a Bruce Lee power pose. It's kind of something like that. Something that makes you feel energized, strong. Like if somebody was going to break down your house, what are you going to do? You're going to stand. You're going to spread your lats. You're going to make your fists. You're going to stand there and not necessarily make the growl face, but you're going to stand your ground. And I want you to find that pose and do it for like 2 minutes. So this is something that I tell my people who they're afraid to go in the gym. It is a scary place. They don't feel comfortable in there. There's going to be other people that they think are going to look at them. And so I will tell them to get out of your car. And as you walk in, you are Wonder Woman. You are walking in to like lasso the place, right? You do that and you take your time walking because you need like 2 minutes of this. So a power pose actually increases. It changes your hormones. If you do it for 2 minutes, it is known to increase testosterone in your body by 20%. 20%. So I also tell my business women this, like when they have to confront an employee or a higher boss or something like that, when they have something really scary to do, I'll tell them like power pose for your 2 minutes so you've got your courage. So it'll increase your testosterone by 20%. So you're going to get a better workout if we're going into the gym. It decreases cortisol by 18%. So another almost 20% that you're actually decreasing the stress hormone, the thing that makes your body hold on to stuff. And it increases your chance of taking that more risky move, like for making that more risky change, for when we're trying to make those changes, when we're trying to get the courage, it actually helps you. But the other key to this is knowing, so you've got disciplined meditation that you can practice. You've got power poses that you can practice. The other thing that you can practice is knowing the excuses. What are your go-to excuses for procrastination, for not getting it done, for letting yourself sabotage? What are those excuses? What are your go-to? You've already become aware of your thoughts, and those thoughts are creating your results in the long run, right? With the behavior chain. But we have to make a switch. We have to know what our excuses are so that we can hit them head on and be like, we're not going to do these anymore. These are no longer acceptable. When you make that switch to this excuse is no longer acceptable, you don't have that out. Because if you do have an out, you will take it. Because we're human, and that's what our brains are built to do, is to keep things comfortable and safe, to keep us on the couch, because that's where we're comfortable. But eventually, we're on the couch for so long that we end up in this horrible rut that we don't know how to get out of. So we cannot keep those same excuses. We cannot give ourselves those same outs that we've had before. So what are your go-to excuses? Well, I want to drink more water. I like to drink out of a straw and I don't have a straw at work. Well, now we have you a straw at work, so you don't have that excuse. Why are you still not drinking the water? Well, I have to get up and go to the fountain to refill my bottle. Okay, so we're going to get you a bigger bottle with a straw. You got to get rid of the excuses that you have. No, sir. No, sir. That's right. Safety issue. Once you've gotten rid of the excuse, once you know what the excuses are, you can rid yourself of them. So today, I want you to tell me your excuses. I want you to write down the excuses that you give yourself to not do the things that you know you need to be doing. So what are those excuses? That's your homework, is to write them down. And then I also want you to write down how you're not going to get out of it this time. How you're not going to let that excuse. Now, don't get me wrong. There's going to be other, like I said, our brains are smart. Our brain's trying to protect us. So it's going to come up with another excuse. But you're going to recognize it because you've already thought the thought and you know the behavior chain. So what are your excuses and what is your way of not getting out of it this time? Some of you have chosen the snooze button. How are you not going to snooze? Well, you're going to set your alarm for the exact time. This is another way to practice discipline. You want to get out of the bed. Not for 10 minutes later, not for 9 minutes later, not for 18 snoozes later. You're going to say, I need to be out of bed at 6 a.m. And you are going to set your clock for 6 a.m. And when that alarm goes off, you're going to get out of the bed because that is discipline. You have told yourself 6 a.m. is the wake time. Your brain knows that, and now you're going to do it to prove to your brain that it's not in charge. All right? To prove that you will do the things, you will follow through. All right? So, the other thing that some of you have told me that you are going to do is keep a calendar, which is great. You're like, oh, I'm so all over the place. I need a calendar. And so you've been keeping your calendar. Well, now you're going to have to continue keeping your calendar. What's your excuse? Well, I don't have time to input it, or it's not convenient to do it, or whatever your excuse is. Write it down, and then write down your way of not getting out of it. How you're not going to use that excuse again. Because so many people that I talk to tell me, I don't know how it happened, but I ended up stuck on this couch, deep in this rut, having this terrible experience, and now I'm having a rude awakening, and I need help. So, whatever your rude awakening is, whatever the thing is that's like eating at you, that feels not right, we can combat it as long as we know that we need discipline, and discipline is a muscle that we grow just like our biceps. We have to work it, we have to practice it, and there's ways to do that. Then there's ways of getting over our excuses, which is going to help us have that discipline that we need, because when we have excuses, discipline is very, very hard. Most of my people that I work with, and all of you at some point, if you've talked to me about your goals, you tell me about the person that you used to be, and how you have lost this thing that you used to have when you were younger, or a few weeks ago you were like doing great, and now all of a sudden like you're lost again. It's still there. You still have it, but you might need to reevaluate your reasons, which is why I asked you if you were still doing the thing that you decided to do on Sunday. If you're not, let's reevaluate your reasons, which we're going to talk about our why, but a bigger picture why, and we're going to do that later in the week. We're not going to actually do that today, because today I wanted you to focus on the discipline. So write down those excuses. This is a short one. Write down how you're not going to get out of them. If you have already gotten out of the thing that you decided to do on Sunday, and that thing is actually not complete, if you've already stopped doing it, today's only Tuesday. You can't stop yet. You cannot stop on Tuesday. You gotta either, if it's a project, you've got to see it through to completion. If it's not a project, if it's something that's ongoing for you, then it's ongoing for you, and you have to continue tweaking your reasons for doing it until they are compelling enough to keep you doing it. You're starting to feel better because you decided you were going to walk this week. Well, I decided I was going to walk, and I wasn't really sure how that was going to go. So I said, I'm only going to walk for 10 minutes. Well, then it felt so good that today, maybe you're going to walk for 15 minutes. You've got to keep changing and becoming that person that you see yourself as. Not who you were on Saturday or Sunday, but the person that you started becoming when you started taking action on Monday. All right. There's more. When you're thinking of your excuses, I want you to remember that someone, although we are all different, there is someone out in the world who has done the thing that you want to do with very similar circumstances to yours, or possibly worse, and they have been successful at it. And the only thing differentiating them is the mindset that they have. So there are women out there with a hormonal imbalance who have still lost the weight and kept it off. There are people out there who have become diabetic, who have gotten that under control and are living good, healthy lives. There are people who have stopped smoking and led healthy lives and never picked it back up. There are people who have done magnificent things with similar circumstances to yours. So, what's the difference? They have a different mindset. They overcame all their excuses. They had discipline. They were willing to work for it. They had a vision that was larger than themselves. All right? So, in 1954, Roger Bannister broke the 4-minute barrier. The 4-minute barrier means that he ran a mile in less than 4 minutes. It was said it was not possible. It would never be done. He did this in 1954. That was a big deal. 4 minutes, a mile. Like, first of all, why would you even set that goal? Well, he did it in 3:59. Since then, people are doing it in less than 3:59, and lots of people have broken it. I couldn't even find the exact number, but somewhere above 1,500 people have done it since 1954. At least 12 of which are schoolers. So, none of us have any excuses. We can do magnificent things if we believe that we can. If we are consistent and disciplined, we can do them. If we have a vision that is larger than ourselves, because a 4-minute mile, are you kidding me? There's someone out there who has your similar circumstances, or possibly even worse, that has done it. They've done it. Somebody that's busier than you, somebody that's shorter than you or taller than you, whatever your goal is, it can be done if you have set your mind to it. I think that's all for today. I would love for you to share your excuses with me. Share them in the Facebook group so that we can all see, because I guarantee you we all have the same excuses. I just reminded myself of one. I was supposed to complete my grocery pickup before 10:30. I didn't do that earlier when I was actually like in the app doing it. I was like, oh, I'll give it another couple minutes. Maybe something will come to me. I got to complete my grocery pickup, and I'm going to do that now.